Chaos and the First Gods. Chaos is the original void, the starting point before the sky, sea, land, or light. From this void comes the first primordial beings, each defining a basic part of the universe. Chaos produces 6 key figures that anchor the entire family network. Nyx, primordial of night, a direct embodiment of darkness. Her line becomes the earliest branch that eventually connects to modern demigods. Erebus, primordial of shadow, represents the absence of light. His union with Nyx creates the first set of deities that link into the demigod population. Tartarus, the primordial pit, a conscious abyss. He establishes the foundation of imprisonment and regeneration for monsters but does not produce any demigods. Pontus, primordial of the sea, an early form of the ocean that predates the Olympian domain. His descendants tie directly into later sea-related deities. Gaia, primordial of the earth, the physical earth in divine form. She becomes one of the main pillars of the family tree and the source of multiple major godly lines. Oranos, primordial of the sky personified. His union with Gaia creates the Titans, who eventually give rise to the Olympians and, through them, most demigods in the series. Nyx and Erebus form the first major connection in this lineage. Their children, Hecate, Nemesis, and Hypnos, are the first deities whose bloodlines lead directly to named demigods in the Percy Jackson universe. The children of Nyx and Erebus. Nyx and Erebus form the earliest direct branch that connects primordial beings to demigods. Their children, Hecate, Nemesis, and Hypnos, each anchor a separate line of demigods that appear across the Percy Jackson books. Hecate, goddess of magic and crossroads. Hecate oversees sorcery, the mist, and boundary-based magic. Her influence is tied to manipulation of perception and defensive wards. Her lineage connects to several demigods. Alabaster C. Torrington, a magic-oriented demigod who later joins Kronos. Lou Ellen Blackstone, noted for advanced spell work and her leadership of the Hecate Cabin. Josephine, a retired hunter of Artemis who appears in the Trials of Apollo. Nemesis, goddess of balance and retribution. Nemesis governs proportional justice and consequences. Her domain is focused on restoring equilibrium after wrongdoing. Her demigod link is Ethan Nakamura, a key figure aligned with Kronos who shifts motives near the end of the series. Hypnos, god of sleep. Hypnos personifies sleep and mental quiet. His influence is connected to dreams, fatigue, and subconscious access. His demigod representative is Clovis, the head of the Hypnos cabin at Camp Half-Blood, known for dream-based communication and extended periods of lethargy. These 3 deities form the first complete bridge between primordial origins and named demigods within the Riordan universe. Gaia, Pontus, and the first sea-sky lineage. Gaia and Pontus form a secondary early branch in the family network, producing deities linked to the sea long before Poseidon exists. Their union creates Thalassa, the primordial embodiment of the sea's surface waters. Thalassa later pairs with Aether in myth, but within the Riordan framework, her primary relevance comes through her sibling connection to Oranos. That link pulls her into the broader Titan family network and ultimately to demigods through a different route. Pontus also connects directly to Gaia through a separate line, producing Nereus, Thaumas, Phorcys, and Ceto in classical mythology. Riordan simplifies this structure by focusing on Thaumas, whose union with Electra produces Iris. Iris, goddess of the rainbow and messenger of the gods. Iris holds authority over optical phenomena, aerial travel, and divine messages. She represents a neutral force often associated with safe passage and communication between realms. Her lineage connects to Butch Walker, the head counselor of the Iris Cabin at Camp Half-Blood, identifiable by his direct association with wind manipulation and Iris message travel. This forms the earliest connection from primordial sea deities to a modern demigod within the Riordan continuity. The Titans, the core of the godly lineage. Gaia and Oranos form the central branch of the entire family tree. Their union produces the Titan generation, a group that becomes the structural foundation for nearly every god and demigod connected to the Percy Jackson universe. Their key children in Riordan's continuity are Oceanus, Tethys, Iapetus, Rhea, and Kronos. Each of these titans forms a separate line that extends directly to gods, monsters, or modern demigods. Oceanus and Tethys, titans of the ocean and fresh water. Oceanus governs the great encircling river of the world, while Tethys oversees freshwater sources. Their relevance in the Percy Jackson universe appears through their daughter, Clymene, who becomes part of a significant titan connection. Iapetus, titan of mortality. Iapetus represents the concept of human mortality and the finite nature of life. In Reardon's storyline, he's later known as Bob after losing his memory in the River Lethe. Iapetus marries Clymene, producing Atlas. Atlas, Titan of Endurance. Atlas holds the sky as punishment and serves as a major antagonist in the Titan's Curse. His line connects to two important figures: Zoe Nightshade, a former Hesperid who becomes a senior hunter of Artemis, and Calypso, the immortal resident of Ogygia, who later forms a major connection with Leo Valdez. These two demigod-linked figures extend the Titan influence into the main narrative of both the original series and the heroes of Olympus. Rhea and Kronos, the central Titan pair. Rhea, associated with motherhood, and Kronos, Titan of Time and the main antagonist of the original Percy Jackson series, from the pivotal union that produces the Olympian gods. Their line is the hinge between the Titan era and the Olympian era. The children of Rhea and Kronos form the next major chapter of the family tree. The Olympian line, children of Kronos and Rhea. Kronos and Rhea form the most influential branch of the family tree. Their children constitute the first generation of Olympian gods, and nearly every significant demigod in the Percy Jackson universe traces lineage back to this group. Their 6 children are Hestia, Demeter, Hades, Poseidon, Hera, and Zeus. Each one anchors a separate set of demigod connections. Hestia, goddess of the hearth. Hestia maintains domestic stability and sacred fire. She has no recorded demigod children in Reardon's canon, which places her outside the demigod network despite her importance among the Olympians. Demeter, goddess of agriculture. Demeter governs plant life, crop growth, and seasonal cycles. Her lineage links to several demigods. Laertes, associated with field combat and execution rituals. Katie Gardner, a central figure during the Battle of Manhattan. Miranda Gardner, who later becomes head counselor of the Demeter cabin. Meg McCaffrey, one of the key protagonists in the Trials of Apollo, and Layla, a Roman demigod from the 5th cohort. Hades, god of the underworld. Hades oversees the realm of the dead, subterranean wealth, and afterlife governance. His children include some of the most significant characters in the series: Nico D'Angelo, connected to shadow travel and necromantic abilities; Bianca D'Angelo, formerly of the Hunters of Artemis; Hazel Levesque, whose abilities include manipulating precious metals and controlling the mist. Hazel is technically a child of Pluto, but the Roman form is equivalent to Hades in the family structure. Poseidon, god of the sea. Poseidon governs oceans, storms, and seismic activity. His line includes Percy Jackson, who exhibits hydrokinesis and enhanced power in water-based environments, and Tyson, a Cyclops who shares the same paternal lineage. Hera, goddess of marriage. Hera traditionally does not bear demigods. Her main relevance in the family structure involves her role as the partner of Zeus and the mother of Olympian deities. Her only independently created child is Hephaestus, produced through parthenogenesis using her divine power. Hephaestus anchors a major demigod lineage and appears later in the Olympian network. Zeus, god of the sky and king of the gods. Zeus oversees the sky, storms, and divine authority. His direct demigod children in the Greek form are Thalia Grace, later a member of the Hunters of Artemis, and Jason Grace, one of the central figures of the Prophecy of Seven through his Roman form, Jupiter. These core Olympians form the central junction point from which additional godly branches and demigod connections emerge. Olympian extensions, marriages, affairs, and secondary godlines. The Olympian network expands through Hera's children, Zeus's extramarital children, and the independent lines that form through these deities. This chapter establishes how each one contributes to the demigod population. Ares, god of war. Ares governs combat, bloodlust, and military force. His lineage includes 4 demigods connected directly to Camp Half-Blood and Camp Jupiter. Clarisse Leroux, a central figure from the Ares cabin known for close-quarters combat and battlefield leadership. Sherman Yang, who assumes the role of head counselor in the Trials of Apollo. Mark, a minor Ares camper noted for participation in cabin activities. And Frank Zhang, a Roman demigod whose father is Mars. Mars is the Roman form of Ares, so Frank belongs to this branch of the lineage. Enyo, goddess of war strategy and destruction. Enyo, identified with Bellona in Roman form, governs controlled warfare and tactical violence. She produces Gila Ramirez Arellano, associated with the Amazons and later confirmed as Bellona's daughter, and Reina Ramirez Arellano, a central Roman demigod whose powers relate to leadership, discipline, and battlefield authority. Hebe, goddess of youth. Hebe oversees rejuvenation and youthful vitality. She has no demigod children in Riordan's canon, but remains part of Hera and Zeus's immediate lineage. Hephaestus, god of fire and craftsmanship. Hephaestus is produced solely by Hera using divine parthenogenesis. His domain focuses on metalwork, invention, and mechanical design. His demigod children include Charles Beckendorf, head of the Hephaestus cabin until his death in The Last Olympian, Jake Mason, temporary head counselor after Beckendorf, Nissa Barrera, who assumes leadership after Jake's injury, Leo Valdez, a central member of the Prophecy of Seven with advanced engineering and fire manipulation abilities, and Shane, Christopher, and Harley, minor Hephaestus cabin members identified in the series. Apollo, god of archery, healing, prophecy, and light. Apollo governs several major domains and has one of the largest demigod lineages. His children include Halcyon Green, a demigod connected to early encounters with Luke and Thalia, Lee Fletcher, head counselor of the Apollo cabin until his death, Michael Yu, who assumes leadership afterward, Will Solis, a central healer and key figure during multiple series arcs, Austin Lake, notable for contributions during the Battle of Manhattan, Kayla Knowles, Laurel, Victor, Gracie, and Yan, all of whom hold roles within the Apollo cabin, and Octavian, considered a Roman legacy of Apollo. Although not a direct child, his lineage is tied closely enough to include him. Artemis, goddess of the hunt. Artemis doesn't produce demigods. Her influence enters the tree through the Hunters of Artemis, members such as Zoe Nightshade and Bianca D'Angelo attached to her branch through sworn oaths rather than lineage. Hermes, god of travel and boundaries. Hermes' domain includes communication, speed, commerce, and transitional spaces. His demigod line is extensive. Luke Castellan, a central character with major influence over the original series events, Connor Stoll and Travis Stoll, co-counselors of the Hermes cabin, Chris Rodriguez, who later becomes connected to Clarisse, and Cecil Markowitz, a Hermes camper appearing in supplemental scenes. Dionysus, goddess of wine, madness, and ecstatic ritual. Dionysus is born from Zeus and the mortal Semele, making him a demigod who later ascends to full godhood. His children include Castor and Pollux, Greek demigods residing at Camp Half-Blood, Dakota, a Roman demigod of Camp Jupiter, and Emmy, a legacy with diluted Dionysian ancestry included due to her direct connection to his lineage. Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare. Athena is born from Zeus and Metis. Her children arrive through the process known as brain children, emerging from intellectual lineage rather than physical reproduction. Her demigods include Annabeth Chase, a central figure in both the original series and the Heroes of Olympus, and Malcolm Pace, who becomes head counselor of the Athena cabin during Annabeth's absence. These Olympian extensions, combined with Zeus's affairs, form the final major branches of the godly family tree and connect the majority of named demigods in the Percy Jackson universe. Total connected lineage. Combining the primordial lines, Titan branches, Olympian lineage, and all secondary god connections produces one continuous family network. Every demigod included across the Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus, and Trials of Apollo series links to this structure through direct descent, Roman equivalence, or extended legacy status. The complete reconstruction of this family tree connects 103 characters, not counting mortals who don't contribute to divine bloodlines. Characters such as Rachel Elizabeth Dare, Ella the Harpy, and other non-demigod allies remain outside this structure because they're not part of any divine lineage and therefore don't attach to the tree. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so I can keep bringing you more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching until the end. We'll see you in the next one.